Good day, Facebook. This is Be Live in 5, questions and answers with myself and Bridgetti. Good evening, Bridgetti.
Good evening, Stephen, and hello and welcome everyone from Cape Town in South Africa.
Right, I'm just going to share the show out, but whilst I do, I did a Twitter poll today in Be Livers. Did you saw it and you?
I actually did see the Twitter poll, and I must be honest, it's not really something that I thought about previously. But as you rightly mentioned, Stephen, the hashtags in Twitter makes it an excellent platform for discoverability. And I think I'm definitely moving forward going to be promoting my broadcasts on Twitter. I'm not sure how other people have fared. I haven't gone back to check the poll and see what other people have responded yet, but I'm definitely excited to use Twitter as a medium to promote broadcasts.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's okay. Carry on. Fine.
Right. Okay, just we're shared out, so that's good. That's a good start. I mean, one of the things you've got to do at the beginning of a program is to actually share out and make sure that people can see it.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely a good idea to share the broadcasts so that people know that we are live and ask other people to share, which is what we're doing now. So if you are watching the show, if you've just joined the show, please share the broadcast so that other people can also benefit from the information we will share with them. In fact, what we're doing is we're going through a list of questions and answers, well, more like questions that were posed on the Be Live in 5 group and on Be Livers, issues that people have had in the past week. These are the questions that we go through on a Friday evening, afternoon your time. Most of you are on the US, but for those of us in Europe and Africa, it's evening. So every time you post questions, we grab all those questions and we try and go through all of them on a Friday evening, one by one. And what we also try and do is, if you are watching live and you have an additional question, you're welcome to pop that in as well. And if you're also watching and you would like to join us on screen, you're also very welcome to do that. Stephen?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I've shared out. We have our first viewer. Welcome to the show. As Bridgetti just said, this is Be Live questions and answers. We take questions from the Be Livers group, and if you've got any questions while we're live, please ask them. And if you want to tell us in the comments where you are, then that would be most interesting in terms of research. One thing, just going back to the, do you actually tweet a link to your shows? One of the reasons I'm asking the question is basically if people do put the hashtag BeLive.tv in their tweets, then they can be found. And if they can be found, then our very new Be Live in 5 Twitter account can retweet them.
Won't you repeat that again? Be Live?
Yeah, we've got a new Be Live in 5 Twitter account, which I started this week.
And the hashtag?
Well, if I'm suggesting people put a hashtag in their broadcast tweets of Be Live TV, yeah.
Okay.
Then we can find the tweets, and our account can retweet them. So that's the reasoning behind it. Not to, well, it is obviously to get everybody promoting BeLive.tv, but that's just by the by.
I also love the fact that we've now started getting everyone's Twitter accounts, and we can follow each other in Be Live, and I think that's also going to work very nicely for all of us.
It is, because it helps build the community as well, doesn't it? People get to know each other, follow each other on Twitter, and hopefully start to retweet each other, because that would be good as well. So all sorts of possibilities by bringing in the Twitter account. I think that the thing is that I think a lot of people walked away from Twitter and said it's not of any use. Well, it is. It can be. And it's like any of the social networks. The more you use it, the more benefit you get. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. We'll go on. We'll go on
dig into the questions.
All right, go on to the first question. And the first question is, help, I'm getting no sound on my broadcasts. Now,
I think that
that was genuinely, that's happened a couple of times this week to people where they've done everything right and the broadcast has no sound, or the live broadcast has no sound. They can obviously hear each other because they're talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've got to say that the only thing you can do in a situation like that is, if you do discover during the show that you have no sound, is to stop that show and restart it. Because there are two parts of the equation. There's the BeLive TV side and there's the Facebook side. And they've got to work well together. If they don't, then if you've no sound, it's not going to improve. It won't come back. So my advice would be to actually just stop broadcasting and start another show after you've tried refreshing and everything.
Yeah, so refreshing is always your first port of call. So if refreshing hasn't resolved the problem, then I agree with you. Restarting would be the next best thing.
Right. Okay. So that's our advice on the no sound. And the next one to come up is, somebody said, I'm pre-scheduling a broadcast. It asked me if I want to add an image. And that image is displayed on the show card, isn't it? If you do a scheduled post, it's shown as a round graphic. And if you check the BeLivers group, there are the sizes for it. But somebody said, because it's a round graphic, if you use a square graphic, 400 by 400, that fits a lot better.
It does indeed. It does indeed. I've tried that myself and it works perfectly. Works like a charm. And obviously, I find that what works best is if you had a clear picture of perhaps your guest, or a logo, and you're not trying to fit in too much in that image. So you'll maximize your of, for example, not two persons. It will look better.
I totally agree. And it's a question of experimenting, isn't it, to get the right setting. And you are given a sort of preview before that. Right, okay, now a problem that must have cropped up more than once is I scheduled a talk show and made it to broadcast to my personal Facebook page. Then we got a bit missing because there's only so much, but I meant to go to my business page. What do I do next?
Well, you actually, once you've created the show, the video is going to broadcast to your selected output. You actually can't change that after you. The only way to change that is to actually delete that broadcast and recreate it and direct it to the Facebook business page that you intended. You cannot rename that video after the fact. It is what it is. It's a constraint that is in place from Facebook. That's got nothing to do with BeLive.
Indeed. And so we're on to our next question, which can happen just occasionally. I lost my internet connection in the middle of a broadcast and can't shut it down.
I think we had one like that today, didn't we?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And excuse me. Situation was that lost the internet. The host lost the internet, and the situation was then that the broadcast obviously continues.
Yes.
And unless you get your internet back, you can't switch it off. So this particular broadcast ran for the better part of 2.5 hours, and the show was in the first sort of half an hour, and the rest of it was all black screened. So if a show if you do lose your internet connection, then you as host have got to do something when you get back. If you do nothing, then the show will run on and Facebook will switch it off automatically after it's run for a set period, which can be anything from 2 to 4 hours, depending on how diligent they're being. If you get your power back within, say, 10 minutes, then you can go into the show and you can stop it.
Right.
Right. And
I think it's one of those things, Stephen, where you want to say forewarned is forearmed. And I think the best thing to do is not to panic, because that's usually what one does if something happens that you're not aware of. But if you know that this sort of thing can happen, it is what it is. It's live television. We can have technical glitches. The big thing in any situation is not to panic. Simply to know that technology can go wrong. Don't panic. Sit back, try and assess the situation, and carry on from there. If you have to restart the broadcast, restart the broadcast. But whatever you do when you have a glitch, don't panic.
Indeed, that's the key to being a good host, is don't panic. Because if you panic, your guests will panic. So if anything goes wrong, just take it a step at a time. Go through refreshing the guests, refreshing yourself. And if you lose your internet connection, the show will finish after a while. And that's it. End of show. You can start another show. Yeah.
You know what I've done, Stephen, is I try and always remember to say to my guests, so that they don't panic, is that if anything goes wrong with me, understanding that my own internet connection isn't perfect and no one's is. So I try and tell my guests in advance that if you see me disappearing off the screen, or if you see that my connection isn't going well for some reason, just know that I'm going to slip out of the show. I'm going to refresh my browser and I'll be back. So when that happens, don't panic. So if your guest knows that in advance, they won't panic.
Very true. Very true. And to everybody watching us, welcome. If you want to join the show, the link is in the post. If you want to comment, we welcome your comments. If you've got any questions, then please ask your questions. We're taking questions from the BeLivers group. Right. And the next question, which happens, well, we have reports of this in the BeLivers group. I've recently been having some troubles with audio on my recordings. You can speak to that, Bridgetti.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I have had some serious issues myself with audio, and for different reasons. Mainly because I'm having issues with my internet connection. I'm on a satellite connection, and it is what it is. There can be problems on the high tower, which does happen, and I have absolutely no control over that. Because you've got to realize information is going between BeLive and Facebook and your service provider. So there's many hoops that needs to work together. And if there's an interruption in any one of those processes, you are going to have a problem. I have done several tests over the last 3-4 days. My service providers made several tweaks for me, and it seems to be working okay now. So yeah, if it happens, try and find out what the problem is and carry on.
And I'm glad that it's working now, because you mentioned something earlier about the servers being in different places.
Yes. Currently, the servers for the Q&A is hosted in one place, and the servers for the talk show in a different place. And I'm finding that when I host a Q&A, I'm having absolutely no problems at all. My broadcasts are perfect. But when I host a talk show, which is what I do, I would say almost 100% of the time, I am having issues but it is something that BeLive is working on. I'm at the tip of Africa though, so I'm pretty far away from where the servers are. So granted, my case is a special one. So what I'm experiencing may not be the same for anyone else, unless you are about the same distance away from the US as I currently am.
And in terms of sound, it is worth investing in. I'll hopefully show this on the screen. A lapel microphone, because once you use that, and I'm going to use it in a moment, improve the quality of my sound no end. Basically, if you've got a lapel microphone, and I apologize for the noise, then the quality of the sound improves straight away. Also, the thing is that once you've got a lapel microphone, USB, any synchronization problems that you have from when you're actually using the system's audio will simply disappear. So, lapel mic, about $30 on Amazon or £30 in the UK, and your sound problems from a quality point of view will be solved. And as Bridgetti's just explained, if you're having problems in addition to that, then there are steps that you can actually take with your service provider and with the help of BeLive.tv. Right, and the next,
sorry, to have to invest in a microphone if you're just starting out, but certainly if it's going to be something that you're doing all the time, if you're going to be having a broadcast at least once or twice a week on a regular basis, then it's going to be worth your while investing in a decent microphone, because it improves the quality of the sound and it makes the experience for the listeners so much better. And if you have to choose between, if I had to choose between the quality of the picture and the quality of the sound, having good sound is definitely always first prize. We would like both to be perfect. That is the first. But if you had to choose between picture and sound, it is recommended that you make sure your sound is better first.
Yes, that's a fact. And so that's the sound. Now we're going to go on to the video. And whilst we're on, this is from the same person, whilst we're on that subject, talking about quality, the video recording is lower quality than the actual broadcast quality. Now we've been this, and that is that because the recording is on Facebook, Facebook decided that instead of 720, which is HD, they would drop down half that to 360. So when you download from Facebook, there is no way that you're going to get the same quality as the live broadcast. You can record independently. If you check the BeLivers group, you will find information on doing that. And who knows what's going to happen in the future as far as recording is concerned. I know what would be nice, but what we would like and what will happen, maybe two different things.
Stephen, I'm kind of thinking that this may change because Facebook's been making so many changes. They're trying to lure in professional people into doing Facebook Lives. And so they've made some significant changes this week already. So who knows? It may be in the works.
I hope so. I hope so, because it makes a whole difference to being able to repurpose the video afterwards. Because if you want to repurpose it, if you want to take clips from it, if you want to use, then the quality at 360 is just not there. You actually do need HD to repurpose effectively. Right, our next question, which is, what's the quickest way to share the show link? Now, the show link is at the bottom of the screen. Click on it and it copies it to the clipboard, and then you can go to Messenger, you can share it there, you can share it into an email, you can share it wherever you want. But we just talked about actually promoting your show via Twitter as an option, didn't we?
Yes, we did. We did. And you know what I do, Stephen, when I have a guest, you know, most guests also want to share the broadcast with their followers or on their timeline. So I will send them both links, but in separate messages, and I will state clearly, this is the broadcast link, and
All
this
right.
is your link for the show. Because people tend to get confused. You know, if they're not a regular guest, and then especially if they're a first-time guest, you want to reiterate and say, this is the link to share the broadcast, and this is the link for you to join the broadcast.
Totally agree. And I'm going through the questions because I'm time-wise. And next question. If a guest joins the show from an iPad, is it better if they use headphones or earbuds for their audio?
Always. It's always better. So when you're having a guest on your show and you're going through your to-do list with the guest, and it's also one of the reasons why you need to do a pre-show setup with your guest. Make sure that your guest looks good on screen because that gives you a better result. You know, make sure that they're sitting at the right height, that they're not too low down, so that when you're showing your lower thirds, it doesn't cut off half of their face. Make sure they're not sitting too close to the camera. Make sure that they've got the earbuds on so that there's no feedback coming through. So those are all things that you need to do as a standard pre-show check. So always, without a doubt, have your guest wear earbuds.
There you have it. Basically, that's the answer, definitive answer to the question. I think I might cut that out as a segment, as we said earlier. We'll see what we can do. Well, the next one was interesting because I'd not actually, well, I hadn't even thought of trying this. I didn't know it would be possible. What is the best way to go live on Facebook and simultaneously use a phone call system? And now they're thinking here. Yeah, sorry. Go.
You know, again, this was out of necessity because not everyone in South Africa in certain areas have got access to good internet. It remains a challenge if you're not in the main city. And also because data is so horribly expensive here. So people are often reluctant to come onto my broadcasts because of that reason. So what I've done as a workaround is I have asked people, or I've called people using WhatsApp or Google Hangouts or a regular phone call, and I've simply put them on speakerphone and their sound will come through my microphone. And it's pretty easy because once you've called them, you can put your phone down on your stand in close proximity to your microphone, and that's it. And you can conduct your interview. And you can use a picture of the person if you like to pop it up on screen so people know who you're busy talking to. So those are workarounds. It's doable. You can do it, and it works.
Brilliant. I might well try that. It's good. It'd be good to test that. As you say, if people have got low bandwidth, then that is an opportunity. That ties in with a suggestion rather than a question. It would be super cool if it was possible to, on any of the broadcasts, to be able to bring in just voice. In other words, no video.
Well, that's exactly it.
Yeah. So that's exactly it. That's the wish. And if that could be done native to the program, then that would be brilliant. It only means switching off the camera, the ability to switch off the camera. I mean, we've got sound, audio and video. If we could switch off the audio, that'd be brilliant. So that's on the wish list. And then, sorry.
What's even, it still is first prize to have the person appear on camera because there's no other way of getting that know, like, and trust factor as having the person on screen with you. I'm suggesting that one has the option available for voice in the instances where internet connectivity is not great. So for those instances, it would be fantastic to use that option.
So you have our vote in doing that. is it possible for me to take myself off the screen and have 3 guests talking amongst themselves?
Yes, absolutely yes.
It is, because it works well, because you as host are still controlling the show, and if there is any problem, you can mute any of your guests at any time. You can take them off air at any time. So you're in total control, but you can leave 3 people on the screen talking and just watch in the background like everybody else is watching.
Yeah, Jeff's often done that on a Monday on the regular Be Livers show, isn't he? When people have come in, he's taken himself off camera and had 3 other people on screen. So we've had numerous. I've done that myself, in some of my broadcasts. So yes, it definitely can be done.
Right, and talking of next week, we with Ross Brand more, and that starts on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. We also know that Jeff is going to be doing the show on Thursday, and we're waiting to hear officially what is happening for the rest of the week. So these are interesting times, because the schedule changes next week, and Monday through Friday we'll have different shows going live on BeLive.tv as a new era is sort of ushered in.
Exciting times.
It is. I mean, we're in the run-up to the first birthday of BeLive.tv, which is October 14th. That's when it was announced to the world, and Rachel did the first ever talk show with, 2 people on screen, face-to-face. That was the 14th of October 2016. So the 14th of October 2017, 14th of October this year, 14th of October 2017 is the anniversary, and there will be celebrations. Sorry?
We're almost exactly a month away, because it's the 15th of September today.
Yep. Something's got to be organised quickly. But get our thinking caps on and get together with Sophia and co. Now, this was because I don't have a DLSR camera, but I think it was Molly who said she was trying to link her DLSR camera to use within the show as one of the video feeds. And if you check out the group, you'll find some good answers to that, which go beyond my technical abilities. But do you have such a camera, Bridgetti?
I have one, Stephen, but right. I've not attempted to connect it yet, and maybe I should. So no, I haven't tried it yet.
Right. Okay, but there are some solutions in the group, and you can actually try them out. Right, okay, we're coming towards the end of today's show, and so it's now time to do a little bit of advertising for ourselves. Be Live in 5 broadcasts Monday through Friday. You'll catch our shows on the Be Live in 5 page, and David Burrows. Tuesday is myself and Tina Shang. Wednesday is Adair, broadcasting from Adelaide in Australia. Thursday is myself and Tina, and as you can see, today is myself and Bridgetti. So we've got you covered 5 days a week on the Be Live in 5 page. If you are watching for that page and you could like the page, that would be good. If you can watch and join any of the shows during the week, then please do. If you've got suggestions for shows, do that, and you're welcome to come on camera in any of the shows. So that's our Be Live in 5 advert. Right, now, I've got to say, we've had some really good questions today. And it's been
we
very
always do. Always
we
do. I enjoy looking forward. I really look forward to our show because there's always a bunch of interesting questions coming up. So people, please carry on doing that. Leave us your questions in the comments, and this is what we do on a Friday evening.
Be Live Q&A. And if you enjoyed the show, then please share. We usually say that's our only call to action, is to share the show out, even if it's after the show. If you're watching the replay, thank you. If you've got any questions during the week, then reach out to Bridgetti and myself. And you can find us both in the Belivers group. But we have other interests as well. This is just one of the things that we're involved in. And Bridgetti, would you like to talk about your channels and how people can reach you?
Yes, absolutely. Basically, I am in Cape Town in South Africa, and one of my big drives at the moment is focusing people's attention on the drought in Cape Town. We've got an unprecedented drought here, and I am trying to draw attention to that because we need the world to know about that. Especially guests. We have a lot of guests tourists coming to Cape Town, South Africa. So I want people to know when you come here, it's one of those situations. Do in Rome as the Romans do. Don't expect to have a luxurious bathtub because we don't have water available for that. But don't stop coming to Cape Town. We still want you to come and enjoy our city.
I'd love to come and visit Cape Town and meet in real life. Talking of that, actually, I've got 3 colleagues on Loving for Britain on Thursday mornings in the UK.
Yeah.
And John I've known for 12 years, and he and I used to have a drink together. But today I met Stephen Silk. He came down, and for the first time ever, we met on BeLive.tv. We've done 70 shows together. And for the first time today, we met in real life, and it was a brilliant day. So, awesome. Shout out to BeLive. Right, so you can catch me everywhere. If you go to BeLive in 5, if you go to BeLivers, we wish everybody a fantastic weekend, and we'll both see you again early next week. And take care, and bye for now.
Have a great weekend. Bye from Cape Town.